Hello, this is John Paval with Access Arts Live here on Sunday, January 5th, 2025, to tell you about the St. Eustache Church Sunday live stream organ recital at 5 o'clock in the evening, European time, 11 in the morning on the East Coast, 8 a.m. on the West Coast, as usual. This Sunday, the St. Eustache Church will be live streaming their resident organist, Baptiste-Florian, Marle-Ouvrard, playing the Symphony No. 1 for organ by Louis Vierne, which Louis Vierne composed in 1895 when he was a young man, only 25 years old. He hadn't finished his studies yet. Louis Vierne was born in 1870. He was studying music, but he came across César Franck, the great French organist composer, playing at Saint-Sulpice Church, I believe it was, and he was overwhelmed and knew then that all he wanted to do the rest of his life was play the organ, which is what he did. So he eventually became the organist at Notre Dame Cathedral in 1900. And remained there as the resident organist until 1937 at the end of his life. In the meantime, he studied with César Franck and Charles-Marie Widor at the beginning of his career, and later became an assistant teacher at the Paris Conservatory, where he had studied with them, where he taught the great organist composer Marcel Dupré. These names, people like Franck, Widor, Marcel Dupré, and Camille Saint-Saëns, they belong to what some people refer to as the Silver Age of the organ and organ music. They refer to the age of Bach and Pachelbel as the Golden Age. And then there was this great French tradition that began with Camille Saint-Saëns and reached all the way down to Louis Vierne and perhaps even further down to Jean Guillou, according to some people. While he was a teaching assistant, he also taught Maurice Duruflé, and Lily and Nadia Boulanger, all three of whom had an enormous influence on other musicians. One other thing that some people do not know about Louis Vierne is that he was legally blind his entire life. He had various work done on his eyes to allow him to see large objects and large letters, but he was reading Braille right up until the end of his life. Now, on June 2nd, 1937, Vierne gave his 1,750th organ recital at Notre Dame. He completed the main part of the concert, which was playing from his piece Stèle pour un enfant défunt, from his triptych, Opus number 58, which is a piece for a child who has died. And then the closing section of the concert was going to be 2 improvisations on submitted themes. So he read the first theme in Braille, and then selected the stops he would use for the improvisation. At his side was Maurice Duruflé to turn the pages if needed. And after he selected the stops he would use for the improvisation, suddenly he pitched forward. He fell off the organ bench, and his foot hit the low E pedal of the organ. He never regained consciousness, and that was the end of his life. He was often heard to say, while alive, that the way he wanted to leave this world was sitting at the bench at Notre Dame Cathedral playing the organ, and that's exactly what he did. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, if I may say it that way, this evening, St. Eustache Cathedral gives you their resident organist and masterful organ player, Baptiste-Florian Marle-Ouvrard, playing Louis Vierne's Symphony No. 1 pour orgue.